Hey guys, we're going to move on to page 2 and 3. I'm going to try to get these 2 pages done within about 7 minutes if possible. We're going to move on to word problems on 3-4. The first thing, we're going to look for our objective, like what we want to do, label our X and Y, and we're going to save that our objective, what we want, for the very end. We're going to come up with our limits, like how much of something we have, like if we only have $50 or if we only have like 4 cups of milk. We're going to make a Y equals out of all of them, graph it, shade it. All our graphing, I'm going to be really sweet to you. The graphings are going to come at a specific point. You're going to test those points to the objective function from number 1. And depending on what the problem wants, find the min or the max. Like you usually want to minimize your costs but maximize your profit. So it depends on what we're working on. Looks like a problem 2. You are screen printing t-shirts and sweatshirts to sell at the Polk County Blues Festival, and you're working with the following constraints. So this is like what you have on hand. You can't use any more than what we have. Let's take a look at what we have. First thing, we have 20 hours. The next thing, we only have $600. And here's a constraint. We have to sell we need to sell 50 items. So that's a constraint. How many t-shirts and sweatshirts should you make to maximize your profit? How much is the max profit? We're going to use this information over here to help us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different types of items we have. It looks like we have t-shirts that only have one color. Those are 10 minutes, $4, and you make $6. And you have sweatshirts. The sweatshirts have 3 colors. They're a lot more expensive at $20, but you make a better profit, but they also take longer. All right, so that's why they're going to cost us more. Let's take a look at this chart that's already made for us. In the next problem, I'm going to teach you how to make your own chart. First of all, the first thing we need to do is say what we want to do. We want to make a profit. So step 1, we want a profit function. So what we're going to do is let's call t-shirts our X. Let's call sweatshirts our Y. So ready? Profit. $6 profit for every t-shirt and $20 profit for every sweatshirt. There's our equation. That's our profit equation. We're going to save this until the end. Okay? This is our goal. Step 2, come up with a limit for the items that you have. So they already made a really pretty chart for you. You're going to have to make your own pretty chart when you get to your homework. So we are limited by how many minutes we have on hand, by how many we need to make, and by how much money we have. And all of those limits were from here, here, and here. So all of our limits get put together. So let's talk about how many minutes we have. And you might be like, why up here do we use hours and here? Because over here we're talking about minutes. We need to use minutes. So t-shirts take 10 minutes. So 10 minutes for every X. Sweatshirts take 30 minutes. 30 minutes for every Y. We have a total of 20 hours. 20 hours times 60 is going to be 1,200 minutes. So let's go ahead and put that on there. So we have 1,200 minutes altogether. Now the number, that's like how many you need to make. They told us that we have to do at least 50 items. So let's put 50 in the total column. That's the number of t-shirts plus the number of sweatshirts. And the cost, we only have $600. So it's going to go here. Let's see. So it's going to cost us $4 according to this chart over here to make a t-shirt. And it's going to cost us, it's going to cost us $20 to make a sweatshirt. Okay? And we're going to add these together. Now, because the total, we have to do less than or equal to 1,200 minutes. We have to make more than or equal to 50 shirts because it says you have to sell at least 50 shirts. And we have to spend less than or equal to $600. So that is our step 2. Step 3, so this little charty chart is step 2. Step 3, we have got to make our Y equals. So this is step 3. We have to do this 3 times. The first thing is 10x plus 30y is less than or equal to 1,200. Take over the 10x. Okay, so we've been doing this a lot. 30y is less than or equal to negative 10x plus 1,200. We're going to divide by 30 on everything. So we get y is less than or equal to, when you put this on your calculator, you should be doing that. It's negative 1 over 3x. When you put this on your calculator, you're going to get a nice clean answer of 40. Okay, that one's ready to graph. But before we do that, let's do another equation. I'm going to start color coding those. So this one was going to be my red one. Next one, I'm going to go ahead and make that one green, so I can like start seeing my different equations coming together. Okay, so I tried to give you a lot of room here. So my second equation was x plus y is greater than or equal to 50. So take over the x and you get, because you're going to minus x, you get negative x plus 50. Okay, that one's now ready to graph, but I have one more equation I'm going to get ready to graph, and that is 4x 20y less than 600. 4x plus 20y is less than or equal to 600. Take over the 4x, so you get 20y is less than or equal to, take over the 4x, negative 4x plus 600. We've been doing this for 2 chapters now, so I am going fast. If you're like, wow, she's solving that fast. Yep, we've been doing that now for chapter 2 and chapter 3. Y is less than or equal to, when you put, excuse me, please, when you put that in your calculator, you get negative 1/5 x, and, excuse me, please, 60 divided by 20 is 30. Okay, now it's time to graph. I am going to go up by 5s on my graph. I can see my highest y-intercept is a 50. Some of you may be tempted to count by 10s. I will definitely discourage that, as I know what the answers are. You might want to count by 2s, but you don't have enough lines. So we're going to count by 5s, and that will be pretty sufficient, I promise. All right, so let's go. This will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and that's as high as we need to go. The reason that's as high as we need to go is that is the highest y-intercept of my green equation. So now it's time for me to graph my red equation. I'm going to go to 40, make my y-intercept. The slope says, now what you guys have to understand is that I'm going to count by 5s on everything. So this is also going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, that way I don't have to overthink my slope. So when I go down 1/3, that's perfectly fine. Now some of you might be like, hey, you're actually going down 5/15. You're right, but 5/15 is the same as negative 1/3. I'm going to continue that out. 1, 2, 3. It's best to do that with these. That way you get a really nice shape. Okay, I'm not going in the negatives, and this one did say to shade less than, so I'm going to, in red, shade underneath my line. Okay. I think I'm going to go over my 7 minutes, aren't I? I always have high hopes of finishing faster. All right, so we go to 50 now. And that slope, and I am graphing fast, guys, because at this point in time, we should be pretty good at our y equals mx plus b's. Down 1/1, boom, you hit right on. I am very kind to you, and I make sure that that happens. Otherwise, you would have to use elimination or substitution. That one was a greater than. So it might be tempting just to shade underneath everything all the time, but that is not the case. So here's my green, greater than green. So far I see a potential overlap. Okay, so green. I'm just gonna really focus on that place where we're overlapping, okay? So remember, just we learned in 3.3, the answers are where things overlap. Now it's time for blue. So I have to go to 30 and go down 1/5. Last equation, you go to 30, go down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, you hit. Down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I missed something here. Did I skip? Okay. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, I hit. I promised you guys that would happen. I'm being like, that's like a nice thing to happen. And if you like continued this out, you would see you'd probably cross there. But the important part is that you're seeing where all your lines intersect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my highlighter, change it to blue, and this one shades below. So anywhere below the blue line. Now your answer is where all three of them are shaded. So if you want to, like, I don't know, make it purple, brown, whatever you want, it's where all three of those items were shaded. So it's this area below the blue, above the green, and below the red. Highlight that area. That's your answer. Anything in here will satisfy all three equations. However, we don't want just something, okay? We want to maximize our profit. We want the biggest profit possible. Well, that just so happens that will happen, that will happen at our vertices or our corners. So here or here, let's see, where else do a couple of graphs come together? Here or here. Those are the edges of my purple area. So what I need to do now is we're on step 4, find the vertices. So find this corner here. So my first one is over 25, up 25, right there. Over 25, up 25 is my first vertice. Okay, my next vertice is over, let's see, this would be 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 50 and then up 0. 55, 60, 65, 70, over 75, up 5, 10, 15. And then, okay, so that was 75, right, guys? So 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120. Whew. So that's over 120, up 0. Sometimes you only have 3 vertices. Just pay attention to your graph to get those corners. All right, so we are now on step next. What's after? Okay, now we find the vertex and we have to test those vertex into, remember from step 1, this equation I'm putting in a black box? Okay, 6x plus 20 is what you're testing. That's called your profit equation in this particular problem. So I'm going to test 25 for x and 25 for y. I'm going to test 50 for x and 0 for y. I'm going to test 75 for x and 15 for y. I'm going to test 120 for x and 0 for y. Whichever one gives me the biggest number is the one that is the answer. So we can grab our calculator, open Notability. I'm going to plug the first 2 in just so you can see how it works, but hopefully I can just do the answers for the other ones. So 6 times 25 plus 20 times 25 gives me a profit of $650. Okay, let's see if the next one gives me more. So we're going to do 6 times 50 plus 20 times 0. That's only a profit of $300. That's not my max. 6 times 75 plus 20 times 15. Oh, there we go. $750 is my new max. 6 times 120 plus 20 times 0 is only $720. So that's close, but that's not it. All right, guys, so we have our goal was to maximize our profits. We surely wouldn't want to minimize our profits. Minimizing our profits would be sad. So to maximize profits to $750, we need to sell and make. Let me make sure, how many t-shirts and sweatshirts should you make to maximize? Okay, I guess it just asks to make. We need, to maximize your profit to $750, you need to make, how many did we just say? 75 for X. What were our X's? T-shirts. And so 75, and you're like, where are you finding that? Right here. 75 t-shirts, 15 sweatshirts. And that is your final answer. That was exciting.